Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be diving deep into a topic that's generating a lot of buzz these days.
Yeah.
It's what happens to electric vehicle batteries after their life in a car is over,
Hmm.
right? So we've got some fascinating sources for this deep dive.
Uh-huh.
One from Alphabet Consulting that dives into real-world examples,
Yeah.
and another outlining the EU's approach to this challenge.
Okay.
So get ready to bust some myths and uncover the surprising second act of these powerful energy sources.
Okay, well, it's interesting you say myths because
Yeah.
there's this common misconception that EV batteries just end up as piles of waste.
Right. Yeah, you hear that a lot.
Hmm.
But our sources paint a very different picture.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Don't they?
Both sources highlight that up to 99% of these batteries are recyclable.
Wow.
And the EU source makes it clear this isn't just wishful thinking.
Right.
It's driven by regulations and the principle of producer responsibility, meaning manufacturers are obligated to manage the end-of-life process.
So it's not just good for the planet, it's the law.
Exactly.
But before we get into the nitty-gritty of recycling,
Okay.
I'm really intrigued by this whole second life concept.
Yeah.
It sounds almost like science fiction.
It's actually quite a practical solution.
Really?
The idea is that before a battery is recycled,
Okay.
it can have an extended lifespan in a different application.
Hmm.
Think of it like this.
Okay.
You might not use your old smartphone anymore, but it can still function perfectly as a dedicated music player.
Oh.
EV batteries work similarly.
So we're talking about repurposing them.
Exactly.
Okay.
Once their capacity drops below a certain level for vehicles,
Right.
they're still perfectly capable of storing energy for things like stationary storage systems.
Interesting.
And our Alphabet Consulting source has some incredible examples of this in action.
Oh, I was just getting to those.
Oh, yeah.
Like BMW's project with Bosch and Vattenfall.
Uh-huh.
They're using old i3 batteries to store wind energy and power 88,000 homes, even when the wind isn't blowing.
Yeah, it's a brilliant way to address one of the key challenges with renewable energy sources like wind and solar, their intermittency. By using Second Life EV batteries as giant energy banks, we can smooth out the peaks and valleys of energy production and create a more stable electric grid.
That's fascinating. So these batteries are actually key to making renewable energy more reliable.
Absolutely.
But what exactly does that mean for the average person? How would a more stable grid powered by these Second Life batteries change our daily lives?
Well, imagine a future where power outages are a thing of the past.
Wow.
Even if you're relying solely on wind or solar power, your lights stay on,
Uh-huh.
your devices keep running,
Okay.
all thanks to these batteries acting as a buffer,
Right.
storing excess energy when the wind is blowing strong or the sun is shining brightly,
Okay.
and releasing it when needed.
Wow, that would be a game changer.
Yeah,
And it's not just about keeping the lights on, right?
right.
Our sources mentioned the role of these batteries in creating smart grids.
Yes, and a smart grid is essentially a more intelligent and efficient way to manage electricity. Think of it as a network that can monitor energy consumption in real time
Uh-huh.
and adjust the flow of electricity accordingly.
Right.
Second Life EV batteries play a crucial role in this
Okay.
by providing the storage capacity needed to balance supply and demand dynamically.
So instead of having a one-size-fits-all approach to energy distribution,
Right.
we can have a system that responds to our needs more effectively.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing how these batteries are contributing to such a fundamental shift in how we think about energy.
Yeah, it really is.
Our Alphabet Consulting source also highlights some impressive project by Mercedes-Benz and Audi.
Yes, Mercedes-Benz has created a massive battery storage facility in Germany.
Oh.
Using Second Life batteries from their smart footwall electric drive vehicles. It's so powerful it could illuminate all the streetlights in a city of over 1 million people.
Wow. And Audi is partnering with an Indian startup to give second life to batteries from electric tuk-tuks, supporting India's move toward electric transportation.
Yeah,
These are some truly inspiring examples.
absolutely.
But eventually, even with these amazing second life applications, these batteries will reach a point where they need to be recycled, right?
Exactly. And when that time comes, the good news is that the recycling process for EV batteries is incredibly sophisticated.
Our sources break it down into 3 main steps:
Mm-hmm.
separation,
Okay.
trituration,
Yeah,
and fusion.
right.
I'm particularly intrigued by this trituration part.
Yeah.
What exactly does that entail?
Imagine a giant high-tech blender designed specifically for battery components.
Hmm.
That's essentially what trituration is.
Okay.
It involves using specialized equipment to grind down the various parts of the battery, preparing them for the next stage fusion. And that's where things get really interesting. Fusion is where those ground-up components are processed using a combination of heat and chemical methods to extract valuable metals like lithium, cobalt, nickel, and aluminum. It's like alchemy turning what some might consider waste into valuable resources.
It's incredible how technology is allowing us to reclaim these precious metals and create a more circular economy. Our Italian source even highlights a cutting-edge approach called hydrometallurgical recycling, which boasts even higher recovery rates for these materials.
Yes, this method uses a solution-based process to extract metals, making it a potentially more efficient and environmentally friendly option compared to traditional pyrometallurgical methods, which involve high temperatures and can release more emissions.
So it's not just about recycling, it's about constantly improving the process to make it even more sustainable. This brings us to another important point, the economic impact. How does all this recycling and Second Life innovation affect the overall cost of electric vehicles?
It's a great question because at first glance you might assume that all this sophisticated technology would add to the price tag, but it's actually the opposite. By creating a closed loop for these valuable materials, we're reducing our reliance on mining new resources, which can be expensive and environmentally damaging.
So it's a win-win, good for the planet and potentially good for our wallets too. But it makes me wonder, how does this approach to end-of-life management compare to what happens to traditional combustion engine vehicles?
That's a really important point of comparison. With traditional vehicles, the focus has primarily been on recycling the metal body. While there are well-established processes for that, the engine and other components, many of which contain hazardous materials, don't always meet the same fate.
So there's a stark contrast in how we think about the end-of-life value of these different types of vehicles. With EVs, the battery is treated as a valuable resource from the very beginning, right?
Absolutely. There's a clear emphasis on maximizing its lifespan first through those second life applications we discussed, and then through responsible recycling. And this approach is driven not only by regulations, but also by the economic incentive to recover those precious metals. It's a paradigm shift in how we view vehicles, not just as modes of transportation, but also as potential sources of valuable materials that can be used again and again.
It's almost like these EV batteries are more valuable after their initial use in a car. It's a really compelling argument for the circular economy model.
Absolutely, but let's not forget that even with all these positive developments, there are still environmental considerations we need to address.
Right, because even though electric vehicles themselves are much cleaner to operate than gas-powered cars, the production of EV batteries still has an environmental footprint, doesn't it?
That's true. The mining of raw materials like lithium, cobalt, and nickel can have negative impacts on ecosystems, water resources, and local communities. It's why responsible sourcing and ethical mining practices are absolutely crucial.
And this is where the importance of recycling comes in again, right? By recovering those metals from old batteries, we're reducing the need to mine new materials and lessening the overall environmental impact.
Exactly. It's all connected. We can't just look at the end product. We need to consider the entire life cycle of these batteries to ensure true sustainability. And this brings us to some exciting developments in the recycling process itself. Have you heard about direct recycling?
I have, and I'm really curious to learn more. What makes this different from the traditional methods we've been discussing?
Well, traditional recycling typically involves breaking down the battery components into their basic elegance and then rebuilding them into new battery materials. It's a bit like baking a cake from scratch after taking apart another cake and separating all the ingredients.
Okay, that's a great analogy. So how does direct recycling differ?
Direct recycling takes a different approach. Instead of completely breaking down the materials, it aims to recover and reuse them at a molecular level. Think of it like repurposing the frosting or the filling from that cake instead of starting from scratch.
Ah, I see. So it's a more efficient process because it requires less energy and fewer chemicals to transform those materials.
Exactly. And it can potentially produce higher quality recycled materials because it preserves the unique structure and properties of the original battery components.
That's fascinating. So direct recycling seems like a real game changer in terms of making the process even more efficient and sustainable. Is it being used widely yet?
It's still in its early stages of development, but holds immense promise for the future of EV battery recycling. It's just one example of the many innovations constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible in this field.
It's truly remarkable how much progress is being made in such a short time. It feels like we're on the cusp of a major transformation in how we think about energy storage and resource management.
I completely agree. Now let's shift our focus to another fascinating aspect of this story, the geopolitical implications of EV battery recycling. As we transition to a more electrified future, the demand for the raw materials that go into these batteries is skyrocketing, and that's created a global race for control over those resources.
It sounds like we're entering a new era of resource competition where lithium, cobalt, and nickel are the new gold.
You could say that, and just like the gold rushes of the past, the scramble for battery metals has the potential to reshape global power dynamics. China has emerged as a dominant player in the EV battery supply chain, having invested heavily in mining, refining, and manufacturing capabilities.
That makes sense considering they control a significant portion of the global reserves for these critical metals.
Exactly. But other countries are also stepping up their efforts. The United States, for example, is increasing domestic production of battery metals and investing in recycling technologies to reduce reliance on foreign imports.
It sounds like a high-stakes game of chess with countries jockeying for position in this emerging industry. What are the potential consequences of this geopolitical maneuvering? How could it affect the average person?
Well, for one thing, it could influence the price of electric vehicles. If one country or region controls a large portion of the battery metal supply, they could potentially dictate prices, making EVs more or less affordable depending on their strategy.
That's a significant concern. Are there other potential risks we should be aware of?
Supply chain disruptions are another possibility. If there are political tensions or trade wars, it could disrupt the flow of these essential materials, impacting the production of EVs and other technologies that rely on these batteries.
So it's not just about securing access to these resources, but also about ensuring a stable and reliable supply chain. This highlights the importance of diversifying sourcing strategies and promoting responsible mining practices to mitigate those risks.
Precisely. And it underscores the fact that the transition to a more sustainable future is not without its complexities. It requires international cooperation, technological innovation, and a commitment to ethical practices across the entire supply chain.
It's a reminder that we're all interconnected and that finding solutions to these global challenges requires a collaborative effort. Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to circle back to one of the most promising aspects of EV battery recycling, its potential to create jobs and boost local economies.
Absolutely. As the demand for recycled battery materials grows, it's creating new opportunities for innovation and economic activity.
We're seeing the emergence of entire industries dedicated to battery disassembly material recovery and the integration of recycled materials into new products.
It's a truly exciting development that has the potential to create high-paying, skilled jobs in communities around the world.
Especially in regions that have traditionally relied on industries that are now declining, such as fossil fuel extraction.
This transition to a circular economy for EV batteries could help revitalize those communities and provide a pathway to a more sustainable future for both people and the planet.
It's a powerful example of how environmental stewardship and economic prosperity can go hand in hand. But we're running out of time for this segment. Join us for the final part of our deep dive, where we'll delve deeper into the future of this fascinating industry. Welcome back, everyone. We've covered a lot of ground in our deep dive into the world of EV batteries, from their surprising second lives to the intricate processes of recycling and the geopolitical forces at play. But before we wrap up, I'd love to explore what the future holds for this rapidly evolving industry.
It's an exciting time to be following this space. There's so much innovation happening, and it feels like we're just scratching the surface of what's possible.
Exactly. What trends or breakthroughs are you particularly excited about?
Well, one area that's generating a lot of buzz is the development of new battery chemistries. Researchers are constantly searching for ways to improve battery performance, increase energy density, and reduce reliance on scarce or ethically challenging materials like cobalt.
So we could see batteries that last longer, charge faster, and have a smaller environmental footprint.
That's the goal, and some promising advancements are already being made. Solid-state batteries, for example, are a hot topic in the industry. They use solid electrolytes instead of liquid ones, which could potentially lead to safer, more energy-dense, and faster-charging batteries.
That sounds like a real game changer. Are there any other innovations on the horizon that you think could have a major impact?
Absolutely. Another area to watch is the development of more efficient and sustainable recycling technologies. We talked about direct recycling earlier, but there's also a lot of research going into closed-loop recycling systems where the materials recovered from old batteries are used directly to manufacture new ones, minimizing waste and resource consumption.
It's incredible to think that we could eventually have a truly circular economy for EV batteries, where they're constantly being reborn and reused.
I agree, and as these technologies advance, it's likely that we'll see even more creative and unexpected applications for these batteries emerge.
Speaking of unexpected applications, do you think there's a chance that EV batteries could eventually become more valuable after their initial use in cars?
It's a fascinating question to ponder, and one that highlights the transformative potential of circular economy thinking. If we consider the value of those second life applications, the potential for energy arbitrage in smart grids, and the recovery of precious metals through recycling, it's not inconceivable that these batteries could actually become more valuable after their automotive life is over.
Wow, that's a mind-blowing concept. It would completely change how we perceive these batteries, not as disposable components, but as valuable assets with multiple lives and applications.
Exactly. It's a testament to human ingenuity and our ability to find innovative solutions to complex challenges. And as these technologies continue to evolve, the future of EV batteries, and indeed the future of energy storage itself, looks incredibly bright.
Well, I said, we've certainly covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, and I think we can all agree that EV batteries are far more than just components of electric cars. They're catalyst for innovation, drivers of economic growth, and symbols of a more sustainable future.
I couldn't agree more. It's been a pleasure exploring a fascinating topic with you.
Likewise, and to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this electrifying journey. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more insightful explorations. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.